Hello dear students. In this video we are going to review and practice the concepts that we have been learning during our classes, which are related with angles, how they behave with each other, also when we have parallel lines like here, and also how to deal when the angles have fractions or decimals, like in this case. So really quickly, let's look at the first example. So here we see that we have two parallel lines, and we know that they are definitely parallel because of these two signs. And we only know that this angle measures 103/5 degrees. So it's 100 and a little bit. Because of the properties of these angles, we can actually know that the angle that is vertically opposite to this one measures exactly the same. So right now we can know that this one is a 103/5. And since here these angles are resulting from the intersection of one of these lines with a transversal, here you are going to have exactly the same repeated here. So this angle is going to be exactly the same measure than its corresponding on the other parallel. So this one, it's going to be 103/5, and this one is also going to be 103/5. The problem is that now we have to find the angle that is adjacent to this one. So let's think about it. Since this is a straight line, these two angles should add up to 180. Okay, so we need to complete 180 here. Okay, 103/5, and the measure of this angle should add up to 180. Okay, and you may think, well, easy, 80 degrees. Okay, 80 and 100 is 180. But remember that we have this fraction. Okay, so if we combine 80 and 100 and also 3/5, we end up with 180 and 3/5 degrees, which exceeds what we need. Okay, we are having more than what we need. So the solution for that is the next one. Let me erase all of this. Okay, the first thing that you have to think about is focus on this fraction. Okay, we have 3/5. Let's draw it. Okay, something like that. Okay, so we have three of them. We have 3/5. So now think about this. How much is needed to complete the unit? Okay, so basically, how much is this? And this is 2/5. Okay, so this is going to be the fractional part of this angle. Okay, so now we have 100, 3/5, and 2/5. Basically, we actually now have 101 degrees. Why? Because look, we have this 100, but this fraction and this fraction make the additional degree that we have here. So now we have 101. Okay, so having 101, how much is it left for completing 180? So it's basically 79. Yeah, so this angle is 79 and 2/5. Yes, because look, 179, it's 179. 2/5 and 3/5 is another unit, so that's the missing unit that we needed for the 180. Okay, and basically, if you already know this measure, you know that the vertically opposite angle is the same, and that these two angles that are corresponding in the other parallel are going to measure the same. Okay, let's see this one. Okay, which is a similar exercise. You have two parallels intersected by a transversal line, and you need to find the missing angles. Well, you already know this angle, the opposite, is the same measure, and these other two, which are in the same position, also have the same measure. Okay, so now let's do the same than before. So if we have 3/8, which is something like this, okay, 3 out of 8, 3/8. So how much is missing, or how much is needed to complete another unit? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so it's 5/8. Yeah. So now we have 118, and this fraction make an additional degree. So we actually have 119. So how much is it left to complete the 180? Because remember, these two combined make 180. So it's going to be 180 minus 119. So 81. Yeah, so the whole part of this angle is 81. So the angle is 81 and 5/8. So this one is also 81 and 5/8. And you know that these two are going to also measure the same. Yep. Now, really quickly, let me erase all of this so we can move to the next examples. Well, meanwhile I finish erasing, let's think about this one. In this case, we don't have parallel lines. We just have three different angles that are adjacent to each other. Okay, and we know the measure of two of them. We know that the bottom angle, this one that I am pointing here, is actually 136 and 2/7. Okay, but this one, even if the measure is not written, you know by this symbol that this is 90 degrees. Okay, so how much do you have here combined? Well, you have 136 plus 90, which is 226, sorry, and 2/7. Okay, don't forget the fraction, it's also including, and this is a degree symbol. Okay, so now if you have here with all of these 226 and 2/7, you need to know how much do you need to complete. But how much do you need to complete? I mean, what angle do you want to complete? Well, if we have the complete whole angle, which is 360 here, so we need to complete to 360. So how much is it needed for having 360? Well, we follow a similar process than here. So this fraction, 2/7, let me try to represent that really here. Of course, it's not perfect, but you will understand. So we have 2/7 here. How much is it needed in order to complete the unit? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5/7. Yeah. And now you have 226, but these two fractions make another degree. So it's actually 227. Now, how much is it needed to complete 360? So this is 3, and this is also 3, and this is 1. So this is 133 and 5/7. You see, it's really straightforward, this process. Well, now let's look at this one. In this case, we are going to follow the same process in order to find the missing angle. The only difference is that we need to complete only 90, okay, because we only have this right angle. So to 3/4, how much is it needed to complete the unit? Only 1/4. 1/4. Now we have 15, and these two fractions make another degree, so it's actually 16. So 90 minus 16, how much is it needed? This is 4, this is 7, 74. 74 and 1/4. That's it. Really simple. And here we know that since you have two lines that intersect, the opposite angle is going to measure the same than this one. So this one is also 120.3. But now we have decimals. But with decimals, you have to think that they are like fractions that have a denominator 10 or denominator 100 or denominator 1000. It depends on how many digits it has. So this one is only 10. Imagine that this is 120 and 3/10. So how much is it needed to complete another unit? Well, 7/10, which is the same than 0.7. Yeah, and now we have a 120 and another degree, which is 121. So in order to complete the 180, look, because we need to complete 180, it is going to be a 59.7. You see, it's exactly the same way than with fractions. Just remember, decimals are simply fractions with denominator 10 or denominator 100 or 1000. I am going to show you right now another example that has decimals. So this one. Okay, let's do only this one, okay? Well, in this case, well, actually, yes, I was thinking about how to do it, but it's quite simple. Look, even if you have two missing angles, okay, you know that these two combined together have to make a 180, okay, and you have 91.17, but 91.17 is the same than 91 and 1700ths. Okay, look, you have two digits after the comma or the point, so you have two zeros, so it's going to be 100. Okay, not a 10 like in the previous case, but 100. So from 1700s, how much is it needed to complete another unit? Okay, it's needed 83. Okay, so it's going to be 0.83. Yeah, so now you have 91, and these two make another degree. That's going to be 92. So from 92, how much is it left to complete 180? It is going to be 88. So it's 88.83. Yeah, now you have these two. And what happens here? Well, exactly the same. Okay, these two together make 180. Okay, what's the difference? That in this case we are going to work again with fractions. So from 1/4 to complete another unit, you require 3/4. And now you have 24 and another unit, it's going to be 25. And from 25 to complete 180, it's going to be 155. Okay, so it's going to be 155 and 3/4 degrees. Okay, so that's how you basically can approach this type of problems. Please don't forget to practice and challenge yourselves. Okay,